Welcome to LoUPE by Tangent Labs. LoUPE is a turnkey, cloud-enabled CG production management application. If you're interested in any specific features of LoUPE, please see the following time points of this video and feel free to jump to those sections. LoUPE is provisioned via a cloud-enabled instance that's accessible from any Chromium-based browser. I will enter my credentials and log in now. LoUPE provides a consistent starting point by first showing you the project landing page. Here you can select an existing project or create a new one by clicking the New Project icon. Tangent Labs has provided templates suited for feature film, episodic shows, and VFX projects. You can select a template and enter the details for your new project to create it. Let's take a look at one of the existing projects, Mimo. Once you've selected a project, you'll be taken to that project's overview landing page. Here we have a summary of the project data separated by tasks, media, and activity. You'll notice that all of these views are scrollable. You can also customize the data presented with each component's filters, sorting, and grouping features. Let's talk about the main icon menus in LoUPE. On the left, you have the data navigation bar, which provides access to data pages. Here you can select various views of the data sets that exist within your project. On the right, you have the action bar, which allows you to take action on any data, both in terms of the context of the current page, but also globally. You can create and manage playlists, create assets, or create shots. All of these tools are available no matter where you are in the system. Let's look at the data navigation on the left. First, you have the task list view, which shows all tasks in your project. Next, we have the Kanban view. For those unfamiliar with Kanban, think of this as a wall of sticky notes organized into vertical columns. The sticky notes represent tasks, and the columns are referred to as swim lanes, which represent the status of those tasks. So, for example, your swim lanes could represent status states of waiting to start, in progress, approved, out of picture, and character would be a sticky note in the waiting to start swim lane. Next is the asset view, followed by a shot list view. As opposed to the task list and Kanban views that concentrate first on tasks, the asset and shot views focus on assets and shots tracked within the system. The media page displays thumbnails of all media in your project, including still images, video clips, and 3D model data. The transit status list view shows the details of your file data transfers up and down between AWS S3 storage and your various users' local project storage workspace. The notes page displays any notes that could be attached to assets, shots, playlists, or review sessions. You can also see replies and conversation history here. Let's take a closer look at list views and how you can customize the data presented. Going back to the task list view, you can see that we have a very large data set in the default view. Depending on your specific role and needs, you'll want to arrange this data in a manner that suits your particular requirements. This page is showing us tasks for both assets and shots. You can see that I've already saved some custom views for myself. I have views for asset tasks, shot tasks, and in-progress tasks. If I select the Asset Tasks view, I can then go to its filter and see that there's a rule that defines that I want my data filtered on the category Assets. This is showing all asset tasks in my project. Let's suppose that I'm a production manager and I want a more refined view that is just assets by status, type, and user. I can add another rule to show just entities and thereby remove subtask information. I'm going to also hide a couple of columns that I don't need. You do that by clicking on the column menu ellipses here. I'm going to turn off kind, since I know we're looking at entities, and also start date to leave just the due date remaining. All list views in LoUPE support a grouping mechanism by dragging the column headings to just above the data rows. I can first drag the summary status column to group by status, then drag subcategory to group by asset type, and finally drag assign to group by user. Now you'll see that I have a view showing the data organized in the way that I want to see it. Also note that there's on-demand scrolling, so as you scroll down, you'll see the additional data sets load. If you need to preserve this view for future use, you click on Views, then Save View. You'll be presented with a dialog box to name your view. Let's call it Assets by User. You can save this as a user view, which is accessible only to you. Or you can save it as a system view, which makes it available to all team members on your project. I'm going to save as a user view. Now you'll see that what I just created is added to the ribbon of available views. You can clear any applied views with the Clear Views button, which will reset to the original unfiltered list. But you can quickly and easily transform your data by clicking any of the available Convenience View buttons. You can have any number of these views per page. And you can create them on any list view pages within LoUPE. Let's look at media and reviews in LoUPE. I'm going to start here on the media page. You'll see that I have some convenience views saved, and I'm going to use the Movies view to see my media clips. Let's say that I want to create a playlist for a review session that's coming up. I do that by going to the right action bar and opening the Playlist Manager. This opens the Playlist Manager dialog and shows us that we have several playlists already created and saved. I can click the play button on an existing playlist to open it in the Media Review tool, or I can create a new playlist here. So let's do that. Now I'm in the Playlist Edit dialog. First I'll enter my playlist details. Then I can select clips from the media page to drag and drop them into the playlist. Note that I can insert media anywhere in the existing playlist. And after putting media in the playlist, I can also rearrange the clips. Or I can delete the clips that I may have dragged over by mistake. The media page offers a convenient way to create and manage playlists, but it's important to note that you can add items to playlists or create new playlists from anywhere that you see media in the system. I'm going to click Save to save out this playlist for review later. Keep in mind that you can get to your playlist and run your review from anywhere in the system. So now we're in a review session with the playlist that we've just created. You can invite other team members to your review session by clicking here on the link icon to copy and send the link to the session. You can see in the Members tab who's currently active in your review session. I've invited my colleague Amadou, who's working at his remote location, to participate in this session. By default, all clips in your playlist are selected to play, but you can use the Shift Select or Control Select keys to choose the clips you'd like to play. I'll select the first clip now and hit play. There is a looping mechanism here so that the clip will play to the end and then start back at frame 1. There are also draw over capabilities in the review tool. I will pick my color as red, set the width, and select my pen to draw. You can see that I can pause and draw in any given frame. If I hit the undo key, the last stroke is removed. If I want to stroke back, I can hit the redo key and it will repopulate. In the playback timeline, you'll see that there are frame markers identified by the blue diamonds which indicate where you have drawings on a given clip. I can use these arrows to navigate between the blue diamonds where I have drawings. Now I will expand my clip selection and hit play. And I'll pause it here. Amadou, can you tell me what color you've picked for your markups and draw something, please?
Sure, let me do that now. I've picked the color blue for my annotations.
So you can see now that anyone who is included in this review session has the ability to annotate and mark up a frame once you've stopped playback. It's also possible to create notes in this session. If I select the Notes tab here, you can see how easy it is to create a note. Amadou will see my note in real time on his end and can reply. And there's a reply now from Amadou. And those are the basics of the Media Review tool in LoUPE. Let's take a closer look at the Kanban data view. I mentioned earlier that this is a card-based view showing tasks organized by status and swim lanes. Traditional Kanban views are one-dimensional, but the LoUPE Kanban allows you to navigate and drill down into more detail. Clicking on any card will render a new Kanban board to show its children. You'll notice in the upper left of this page that there's an indication of where you are in the project data with these breadcrumbs. In this project, we have the asset and shot libraries at the topmost level. As you navigate, the breadcrumb indicator will update to show you where you are in the tree. Let's drill down into sequence 002. Clicking on this card redraws the Kanban to show the shots that are the children of sequence 002 and the status of those shots in their respective swim lanes. Let's pick shot 0070 and click to drill down again. Now we see the departmental task for this shot. If we click one of these departments, say animation, we'll see the tasks that make up all effort required for the shot's animation department. The swim lanes in detail view can get quite busy. This is due to various departments all having their own unique ways of working and different labels for indicating status. LoUPE provides a way to reduce the noise of this detail by defining a project's summary status codes. All detail status values will map to one of the summary status values. Clicking the drop-down to switch to the summary status presents a much simpler view. We can use the breadcrumb navigation to travel back up the tree and see simpler views at all levels. You can also use the breadcrumb navigation to quickly see other adjacent data. For example, we're here at the board for sequence 002 and shot 0070. We can use this widget to show the siblings of shot 0070 and quickly update our Kanban to show one of their data sets. Let's switch to shot 0250. Updating status from the Kanban board is fast and simple. Just drag and drop a card from its current swim lane to move it to the updated status lane. For example, I can take the shot finaling tasks and update them from in progress to approved. Let's use the breadcrumbs to move back to show the board for the shots in sequence 002. The cards themselves have multiple hit points to show different aspects of the data relating to it. Clicking on the edit pencil will show the back of the card and provide additional task detail. Let's see the back of the card for shot 0250. You see here there's more detailed information and input fields to allow you to make changes on this card. There are also buttons to upload media, switch to an even more detailed view, and save any changes you may have made. And there are subtabs here to show subtasks and notes information. You can reply here to any of these notes. You can use the subtask tab to quickly add a new subshot, task, or process. Let's add a task. And you can also use these checkboxes to quickly mark a subtask as complete. Let's close up the back of this card. The third hit point on a Kanban card is the card's name. Clicking on the name will show its detail view, which is the most comprehensive view available. This page supports two different resolutions for the media that's available depending on your preference, and you can review the media right here. Keep in mind that you can also drag this media or any media in the system over into your playlist manager. There are several tabs here to present other detailed data, including tasks, versions, media, attachments, notes, and the Related tab, which shows the assets that are related to this shot. Let's close this detailed dialog. In addition to the Kanban boards organized by detail and summary status, there is also a board that shows tasks organized by user. With this view, you can quickly focus on the task for a specific user to access their progress and workload. You can see that the Kanban view is very intuitive, actionable, and a clear reference point for any task data in your project. Let's take that one step further and look at how LoUPE integrates with your digital content creation package of choice. In this case, we'll look at Blender, which is an open source DCC tool. With a package like Blender, or Maya or Houdini for that matter, shots and assets need to be created, and there are a number of ways to do this. But let's look at one simple way to create an asset. If you are in the Kanban view, as seen here, I will drill down and select characters, which will take us to that particular set of assets. I will go to the action bar on the right and click the Create Asset icon. Here we can give that new asset a name, set user assignment, and enter more detail about that particular asset. I'll save this out. You can now see that this asset has been created and it is in here in the Waiting to Start column. Now that we have an asset that is newly created, you can do the assignment and the artist would get a notification that they've been assigned a new asset. They would then go to Blender and find the file that is available. Essentially what has happened in the background is that a templated Blender file with a cube for its origin has been created for this asset. Let's jump into Blender and take a look at that now. So here we are in Blender and you can see the empty scene file that has been created. Tangent Labs has created an asset management add-on for Blender that is a mechanism that allows you to sync your asset files and shot files between your desktop and AWS S3 storage in the cloud. You can find the Asset Manager icon over here on the right. Let's click on that and you can see that it brings up the Asset Manager UI itself. You can see the asset browser, and the first point of navigation would be to select if you want to see assets or shots. Let's select assets, and this presents us with a list of various asset containers. Let's then select characters, and you can see the assets related to characters. Let's look at the asset Suzanne and make a change in the modeling file. I can now see that there are a number of revisions of this asset that have already been saved. Let's open version 2. If you have that file locally already, it will open it from your local project storage. If you do not have that file locally, it will go and look for it on AWS S3 storage and then sync it to your local project storage and open it from that location. So let's make a few changes to this file and add a point light and a camera. We'll then add a comment and save out a revision. The changes have been saved locally and the version number has been updated and it has been synced with the AWS S3 storage. So now, as we've been syncing between local and AWS S3 storage, if we go back into LoUPE and look at the transit status list view, you will see here the record of those transfers having taken place. And we can go back and look at the asset card for Suzanne inside of LoUPE and see the changes that have taken place. Note here that the new versions we created in modeling have been recorded. This is all interesting and useful information on how the current status of any given asset has progressed over time. Let's talk a little bit about reporting and analytics in LoUPE. In LoUPE, you can connect to other productivity packages such as Google Docs, Microsoft BI, Tableau, and Excel using our OData connection to create real-time reports. Let's start and build a report now using Excel. You can start by opening Excel, open the Data tab, select from other sources, and then select OData Feed. This opens up the OData Feed window where you can enter the URL to LoUPE. We'll do that and click OK. The Navigator window opens up here and you can get a list of all the underlying tables as well as a preview of the data in those tables. You can choose to select one single table and load that to your Excel sheet, or you can select multiple tables with the purpose of merging or combining data or performing any number of operations on a specific table or set of tables. So let's drill down here and say that I want to report on shot tasks and asset tasks. Let's enter the word task into the Navigator search window. You can see that that search provides results for all task-related tables and associated data. I will check task and task status and then select transform data, which will load these tables and take me to the Power Query window. So now you can see the Power Query Editor window and you can see that I have my raw data here, but it's always a good idea to optimize your data based on your key performance indicators or KPIs, or to organize the data specific to any reports that you intend to create. Just like any Excel spreadsheet, you can sort, filter, and refine this data based on your requirements. I've performed a few basic operations on this data set, and I'm ready to load this data into my report. I'm going to click on Close and Load. And this now brings me to a list of all my assets and shot tasks with all data pertaining to the asset source and shot source. This will then be the basis of any reports that I want to create on that data in the future. In this case, I've created some shot department reports and heat maps based on this data set. Let's take a look at the shot department report. This shows the total number of shots, how many are complete, and the KPI that I've defined here is the completion percentage. You can also see here that this report on the left has been built to show different departments like layout, lighting, and so on. The shot data updates based on the department that you select. Let's move to another report I've created, and this is the asset department heat map. This represents the percentage complete for all of the assets and asset departments and provides an easy to read snapshot using standard green, yellow, orange, and red status colors. You can also use this dataset or any dataset to create a series of dashboards. Here, for example, I can see task complete in a graph form by department. I can also see overall asset department task status. One thing to notice here is that this is a live Excel connection. So if you want to update these reports on a daily or weekly basis, for example, you can just click on Refresh All, and the reports will recompile with the most recent data. No export to file formats like CSV is necessary. LoUPE will also ship with a series of pre-configured high-level HTML reports for your use. This reporting capability is extremely powerful in terms of understanding project status and progress. One more thing. Although LoUPE runs on the cloud and we have an eye firmly on the future, we understand that artists and studios have existing investments in on-premise infrastructure. LoUPE takes that into account and provides the best of both worlds. We ship with AWS ThinkBox's Deadline Render Manager, which you can use on your on-prem resources alongside the AWS cloud, and transition your workloads as it makes sense to you. Thanks for joining us and checking out our overview of LoUPE. Please feel free to reach out to us directly and follow us on any of our social channels. We would be happy to arrange a follow-up meeting with you to discuss further why LoUPE is storytelling simplified.